Virginia's Attorney General is vowing to investigate after at least 13 schools across 3 different districts withheld merit awards from the top students in the name of equity. Governor Youngkin slamming the districts, saying, quote, they have a maniacal focus on equal outcomes for all students at all costs. Joining us now with reaction is the author of The Great Parent Revolt, Lance Izumi. Good morning to you, Lance.
Well, thank you very much, Ainsley, for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. How did this affect the students that were commended students? They were not able to move on with the process to find out if they were winners, right? And they would win $2,500 in scholarship money.
No, that's right. And so the problem is that these students, unfortunately, didn't receive this timely information. And so in the process for their college admissions, they weren't able to put this in their applications, which, of course, undercuts the quality of their applications. And so this could make a difference in whether they get into the schools that they want. And so, this emphasis on equity, which means the same outcome for all students, as opposed to equality, which means allowing for the equal opportunity for students to achieve at their highest ability. This equity concern undercuts high achieving students because high achievement undercuts the notion of the same results for all students.
Let's bring in Fairfax County mother, Asra Nomani, who was affected by this. Asra, your son, you found out 2 years after the fact that he was a commended student, right?
Yeah, Ainsley, can you believe it? You remember when we were in the trenches in Fairfax County, right? After the election of Governor Youngkin? I remember seeing you in that room. And Ainsley, do you know that I did not even know then that my son had won this commended student award the year before? I just found out.
How did that make you feel? Because he worked so hard, an outstanding student.
Yeah, it was just like a punch to the gut, Ainsley. When we talk about, the title of Lance's book, The Parent Revolt, why would we be so angry? Why would we be so agitated? I mean, Ainsley, you've been in there with us since the beginning, and you know that we are just sincere folks who are trying to just raise our kids well, right? But they just deny us fundamental rights. And that's why this investigation by the Virginia Attorney General into a human rights and civil rights violation is so critical, because that is exactly what's happening. Is kids are being denied their fundamental civil rights and human rights. And we're going to make sure that that things are corrected.
Yeah, y'all are all speaking out. We've been down there so many times, and y'all have all told us, or many of y'all said, we didn't even know who was on our school board. And now we know all their names, and now we're trying to change things, and the mama and papa bears are roaring loudly. There are 11 schools, 4 in Loudoun County, 7 in Fairfax, and then we just learned there are 2 more schools in Prince William County. Lance, I'm going to read this statement, and I'd like your reaction. It says, PWCS believes strongly that all student achievement should be recognized this year due to an accidental administrative oversight. 2 out of 13 PWCS high schools made recent notifications to approximately 16 students. All other PWCS high schoolers either had no qualifying students or made notifications earlier this school year. Lance, I interviewed one lady who said that she was calling the school, or I think she was interviewed by a publication, maybe I read this, because we've been covering this for a few weeks. She called the school to say, why weren't we notified until the middle of November that my child was a commended student? We lost out on some of that scholarship money. My child couldn't go forward. And the student services director told that mom that they did not want to notify the qualified students because they were scared the other students would get their feelings hurt.
No, I think that, Ainsley, that this is exactly the reason why this equity focus is undercutting so many students, because equity is really tied to this notion of critical race theory. Under critical race theory, you separate kids into oppressed classes based upon their race, and so that you have the achievement of high achieving kids that are attributed not to the individual initiative of the kids, but to
we have to leave it there. I'm so
the race
sorry.
of their
it's
kids.
a hard break. Thank you both so much.